سەرۆک بەرز بەرێزان ئەندامی قەنات جنێڤیا مافی مرۆڤان و دیموکراتیە ئامادەبووین بەرز ئەس گەلێک ji dil û can spasiya dikim bo vê dawê û bê vê xelatiyê biha giran yek û layıqê her keç û jin û zarokê îş û jan dîtin bûye qurbaniya vî tiştî wên ez bi navê wan peyvîn wekî çikap çavê xwe dîtî û serî hatiye kirin navê min Şirîn e navê min Seraz Delal Xêro ez
I would like to thank you very much for this invitation. My name is Shirin. I'm 20 years old and I come from the village of Hardan in the district of Shingal. I'm from a middle-class family. My family consisted of 7 family members. My father worked as an electrician. My mother was a housewife who took care of us and the household. I had 2 brothers and sisters. We attended school. My wish was to become a lawyer and to fight for justice and women's rights. At that time, everything changed for my family. On the 3rd of August 2014, on that day, the Islamic State attacked Shingal. Our men had only rudimentary weapons to defend the region. Then the south of Shingal fell, and ISIS moved towards Hardan. And it continued to move on from one place to the next. One of our Sunni neighbors said they were going to come and told us we shouldn't fear for our lives because they would not do us any harm. We should raise white flags, show we had no weapons or uniforms. Nonetheless, my cousin Salim was 19 years old, was called by his Sunni teacher, who told him that the Islamic State would soon be attacking Hardan. They would be killing all the men and kidnapping them and enslaving the women and the children. The news spread rapidly. We and our neighbors prepared to take flight immediately. We didn't know what was awaiting us and what our fate would be. But we couldn't get away. We were arrested at 6 o'clock. I and 26 family members and 350 other families from the village. At first, the men and women were separated. The men had to stay in Ardan, including my brother Fawaz. The boys and young people under 16 stayed with the women. We suspect they were murdered, for several mass graves were found around Ardan. I was alone in a car, and my mother and sisters were in another car. We had to hand over our money, our jewelry, our IDs, our mobile phones. We were told that we would no longer need the IDs. We were brought to Badosh first. The older women were sent off to work as servants. I was part of a group of 700 other women. We were separated in 3 groups. One went to Raqqa, and the remaining 70 women, including myself, stayed in Tel Afar. One day later, boys and adolescents between the age of 5 and 15 were taken out, including my brother Azad, who was 9. Then other women were separated from their mothers and they were sent off for sexual slavery. And we learned that the Islamic State had planned the attack. Later, I saw my brother Nasa. He was detained for 5 months. I was a servant. I had to pray 5 times a day. I was in charge of the breakfast, dinner. The last man who bought me did so because of the misdeeds he had done, to get a good conscience. I was sold several times, and I became pregnant, and I realized 2 months later that I was pregnant, but by that time I'd been bought by another man. I wanted to abort the child, and I took medicine and carried heavy things, hoping to miscarry. It happened, but I was very sick, and I became very ill because of it. It happened, but I was very sick because of it. I was captured by the Islamic State for 9 months and was sold 9 times, and I was very mistreated and raped. The last man who bought me did so, as I said, to make up for what he had done. Afterwards I was sent to Bedan and was treated. After my liberation, I looked for a job so I could forget these bad memories, and I met the organization called the International Society for Human Rights, Frankfurt, in Doak. At the time, they were distributing donations and relief supplies to the refugee camps. We were treated medically. We were given special therapies, which have helped me to continue to live today. For all the organizations here or the cooperative groups, my deepest wish is to liberate the 3,000 women who are still in detention. The leaders of ISIS are responsible for these attacks and should be brought before the International Criminal Court or other international courts. We must do a number of things. We must take aid projects and help them to be accepted. We must locate the mass graves and study the DNA. There must be international recognition of the massacre of the Yazidi people as a genocide. Protection must be provided for endangered people such as the Yazidi. We must help the Yazidi refugees outside of Iraq, in Greece and in Turkey. They must be supported. If the Iraqi government must be urged to begin the reconstruction of the destroyed villages of the Yazidi and to provide adequate infrastructure. Thank you.